Hello there, everybody. I'm Reverend Charlotte McGinnis, and I'd like to welcome you to my heart-to-heart soulful conversation with my special guest today, Brian Kirsch. This is actually take two. The first one, we had a little technical difficulty. We scrapped it, and here we are again. So hopefully it's going to be clear and without any issues. And if not, it's all in divine order, as we know, right, Brian?
There you go.
That's right. You just got to learn to go with the flow. But before we get into this awesome conversation, and before I introduce you to Brian, I'd like to just thank you all once again for joining me for this weekly conversation. I'd love to have guests, people that I know, and I love and value the work that they're doing and want to share all the good that is happening in the world today. And actually, this week, Brian's our guest. And Brian, we were just talking before we got lost in the last bit. Brian is actually the person who introduced me to radio many years ago. Did you ever remember what year that was?
It was like 2009, 2010 at WPBR.
WPBR in Lake Worth. Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was. PBR. And it was lots of fun. And I know you gave me one of your days, and then down the road, Lindsay and I did a show together. And that's where I got my start in all this. And so I owe that to you, Brian. So thank you.
Yeah. That was a fun time.
You are a mover and a shaker, and we're going to get into that because you've done many, many cool things throughout your life. But before we go there, I just want to let everyone know you can go to my website, charlottemcginnis.com, see everything that I have going on. I'd love to have you join me Wednesdays at 5 every week for the guests that I have, and also every Sunday, my soulful conversation at 11:11. And I've got other things going on that you can check out, join what you like, and would love to have you. But I've got another event coming up on the 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm going to be with Jason and Heather Powers, Bob Sima, Shannon Plummer, and Dale Allen Hoffman for our third series of our Ascension 22 program. And it's been really awesome so far. And the main focus of next week is going to be on the mind and bringing ascension consciousness into the mind and what that means. And we have music and we have experiential opportunities. And the best thing is it's for a love offering. As little as $1 will get you in, and just want to get as many people in here as we can. So all that information is on my website as well, Ascension 22. So I want to go right into introducing Brian again, and hopefully this one sticks, and I'm sure it will. But I've known Brian for probably 15 years anyway, at least, and we knew each other in Florida and had a lot of common interest, studied Course in Miracles together, Think and Grow Rich, which was a great course. And both of those are still studies that I still keep at the forefront of my life. And they're life changers. If you haven't explored either of them, I recommend it. And Brian's always been an entrepreneur, and he did a lot of mainstream business work back when he was younger, and had a masonry business and was very successful at that. But at some point, Brian decided to start up and work with not-for-profits, and he created the Mockingbird Garden. Did I say that right? Mockingbird Garden?
It was Gray Mockingbird, yep.
Gray Mockingbird, that's right. And I want to hear about that in just a minute, but one of your statements here in your description, when I asked for your bio, pretty much sums up who you are, Brian, and I'll start with this. I think, therefore I create. So Brian, what the heck does that mean? I think, therefore I create.
Ta-da. Well, I just thought, and there it is. It's, to me, it's anytime you think, to me, it's a matter of we're made in the same image and likeness of God. God is spirit. What does spirit do? Spirits create. And to me, it's a matter of whatever we do, whatever we think, that's what we're creating in our time. So it's a matter of, okay, if I'm going to create, here's what I'm going to do next. And it's funny when you work with your integrity that it's like, okay, here's what I said I'm going to do. And even if it's the littlest thing, you take action on it, and it's like, and the next day you take another little action. The third day, you don't feel like doing a damn thing, so you stay in bed and sleep. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is, it's just, if that's the one thing you want to see happen, and you take just the little steps, it does get created, and it's just putting the word out there. So to me, if you want to be, anybody creates, and that to me, with the spiritual laws, when I hear people wanting to grow spiritually or whatever, it's like, to me, the funny thing is, we're all spiritual, and it's like, there's no need or reason to have to grow spiritually. Just, we are spirit, and this is what we're doing, and ta-da, here we are.
And here
Um,
we are. Yeah.
and one of the things that because I was brought up in construction, in the spirit uh, community, they have these things called treasure maps. And the thing is, it's like, people come to these big workshops, and it's like, okay, let's treasure map. And did you get your pictures out of your magazines and your things about what you want and this and that and everything? And so they put them all together and make this big collage. And the funny thing is, you take just an everyday construction labor, and the first thing they do is they get on the job, and what do they have to do? It's like, well, here's the blueprint. The blueprint is the treasure map. And what's amazing is you actually get to see the concept of, here, it's not just a matter of putting the picture there and saying, okay, this is what I want in my life. It's, everything is specific, everything is detailed. And they do talk about this in treasure mapping and stuff like that, about having some details and specifics, but you get to realize just how specific you want. When you're building a house, it's a matter of, here, I want this kind of floor, I want this kind of wall, I want this kind of paint. Here's this wall wants this color, this is what I want here. Everything is specific. And every specific trade has its own ways of having to build it, down to a 16th or an 18th of an inch, to say, here, this is exactly where this thing's got to go to make this thing work. So the whole concept here is, they're already using spiritual concepts.
Right.
And so to me, it's like, ta-da, they know spirituality. They're living it every day. So
yeah, I totally agree with you. And really, if you even, I know we studied the Think and Grow Rich together, and those concepts are eternal, and they, if we can think it, we can achieve it, and we have to begin to feel it and envision it. And like you said, be specific. And I've always been in awe of construction, and actually how someone can actually take a plot of land and then build a house, and and everything's kind of, if they know what they're doing, it's level, it's straight, and I always wonder, and maybe you can answer this, and not to digress, because we do have other things to talk about, but I was always curious actually at how often houses turn out well. And I know that, I don't mean to judge anybody, but I know a lot of workers that come in maybe are not totally competent in that, or develop their skills yet, but yet they always seem to look pretty good, and everything seems to work, and they pass inspection. So I guess that's a good contractor, or what? You would know that answer.
Well, the cool thing, what makes a good contractor is not that they did it right. What makes a good contractor is when they make it wrong, that they fix it.
Yeah.
The one contractor you want to stay away from is the one that has never made a mistake, because that's a lot of crap. The whole key is what are you going to do to fix it? And not just a house, but it was somewhere up in near Port St. Lucie. It was an apartment complex we were doing, and one of the apartment buildings, just the first floor, I had a sub crew come in and build the thing. And I got a call, one of the days, and all of a sudden it was like, Brian, we have a problem here. And the thing is, I drove up there, the shell contractor was there, the main builder for the whole development was there. and there were walls that were out, there were walls that were not plumb or level, and it was like it was a disaster. And at first I sat there and I said, well, yeah, we could do the, and you got more than one livable space there. You had like 5 different units in this floor. So the whole thing is, it's like, okay, well, we could do this or this and this and this, but it's like, my God, that's a lot of moving and a lot of doing this and that. And the shell contractor, he said, Brian, we could just get the front end loader and just flatten this thing and then start over again. And it got back to me a couple years after that. The thing that impressed them was it didn't take me over a minute to say, let's flatten it, because the whole concept is, did I lose there? Absolutely. But did I gain something there? Absolutely, because the whole kick is, I'm not there arguing with, here, no, this is okay, this is okay. It wasn't okay. It was a matter of let's flatten that and start over again. So to me, that's a huge part of constantly being able to move forward, is know that, yes, you make mistakes. Doesn't matter how good you are. That's how you learn, is by your mistakes and experiences. So it's like, yep, this is bad. Let's tear it down and start again. It was an expensive Etch-a-Sketch.
Well, Brian, but that's a great metaphor for life and our spiritual practice. I mean, sometimes, when we make that commitment to walk a spiritual life, everything, it's like the wrecking ball has to come in, and we have to be willing to look at our mistakes, our darkness, and say, okay, I can do better here. So just sort of sometimes it takes that wrecking ball to come in, clear it, and make space for something new. So
yes, it does.
Pretty much were walking those principles before you took, well, what year were you ordained originally in ADL?
Oh my God, that was in the early 80s. It was 34 years ago now, whatever that is.
Okay.
I can't do the math unless I got my calculator.
Well, yeah, so a long time ago, that's for sure. Yeah, so you came back into the ministry because you've activated all these awesome garden ventures, and I do want to get into that, but I want to ask you, where did where did the shift take place? Were you a gardener before you started Gray Mockingbird and in Florida? I mean, what prompted that development there?
Well, when I was a kid, me and my brothers, we all grew up, after school, we'd go down, it wasn't even a mile down the road, there's a farm there, and we'd work the farm. It was mostly a potato farm back then. But every day we go there, and that's how we made our money. And in fact, I was 12 or 13 years old, I remember, and there was one day I couldn't go into work, and I didn't understand why. And it was because I was too young to be working on the farm equipment, and the labor, whatever government agency found out that I was working on, farm equipment, and it's like, well, you're not supposed to be doing that. And it's like, why the heck not? It's like, yeah. So to me, it was a great learning experience. To me, it taught farm ethics and work ethics. It was just, we just all did that, and there were other farms here, people that I went to school with. A lot of people went to work after school working on farms. It was what you do around here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I was going to say you were in Florida and in Lake Worth. So tell us about Gray Mockingbird. What did you all do, and who did you serve? It was a 501c3.
Yep, that was a 501c3. What was amazing is that was done through the Scottish Rite, which is a Masonic organization. They had space there, and I was with one organization just helping out, feeding people, whatever. And they weren't taking care of the area that was at the Scottish Rite. And so the thing is, I talked to the people at the Scottish Rite, and I said I'd take care of this. And so I just went in there every day, just put the thing back into shape. And the other organization came in trying to get me kicked out. And it was funny because the people at the Scottish Rite, said, well, this past weekend, Brian was out there working and taking care of stuff. Where were you? And the person couldn't
Oh,
answer. And it's like, that's the whole concept. It's if you're going to do something, you got to show up. And that was a big part of that. And we served. It was mostly just growing things. It wasn't the most organized organization, but it was constantly trying to grow different things in different ways. To me, I'm not a big proponent on here. Everything has to be organic. People eat whatever and however they can. It's a matter of what's going to make somebody else plant their own food. To me, if it takes them planting in a plastic container and that's not an approved container, it's like, guess what? That's what they had. That's what they're starting off with. So so let it work.
mm.
And it does grow a good $37 tomato. But
Yeah.
that's the funny thing is know that when you're growing something, it's not going to be the cheapest always. And to me, that's what I've evolved into now with the Farms of ADL. But with the Gray Mockingbird, it was cool because not only did we do stuff in the soil, we did hugel culture, which is a old way of growing in hills. But we also did the hydroponics and aeroponics as well. And to me, that was more fascinating because it was more like the Epcot Center in
Yeah.
Disney, when you go there and see plants and flowers and vegetables just floating up in the air and everything. And it's like, oh, okay, that's what I want. Why? Because it looks cool. And it is cool. And what's funny is I can talk about planting and growing stuff. I'm not big at growing stuff myself, though. When it comes to taking care of, you get a certain bug or a certain fungus or anything like that. To me, it's like I just haven't ever been able to grasp a hold of that kind of thinking, nor have I wanted to, or do I have any passion to. To me, it's like let other people do that. And that was my downfall with the Gray Mockingbird was that part. I could grow the stuff, but if there was something that happened with it, it was like, okay, that's gonna that's gonna fall by the wayside. With the hydroponics and the aeroponics, I didn't have that much problem, unless it was like basil or something like that that had the powdery mildew because it was so tightly growing together and all. So there are things that you run into, but to me, it's always cool just to see something growing from a seed. It's
Yeah,
like it
really.
doesn't matter how many times you do it. And then it's just like doing construction. It's the same thing. Anytime you see something start from nothing and watch the thing grow, it's like that is just wild. It's just putting all the things together and knowing that, okay, that's growing. Now you can eat the thing. And now let's go to the next season.
Yeah, well, you've certainly done that. And, just on the side, our ADL president, John Kowalczyk, is up in New York and he's quite a gardener. So
Yeah.
maybe someone you want to connect with down the road. But so fast forward, you did all this awesome work down in Florida with Gray Mockingbird. You went back to New York and you're up there. And what inspired you I know you were doing a lot of other volunteer work as well. So what sort of led this to you to creating the Farms of ADL?
Well, creating Farms of ADL is I had to have my own nonprofit. To me, it's just to create my own nonprofit. It allows me to know that it's better. Oh, hold on there. Okay. When I'm running the thing, I'm able to call shots and everything. And yes, you together the board and it's like, but here's the direction. And it's also known that, well, if I'm not running this, you guys don't want to run it, but you do want to make sure everything is going in the direction that we're looking for. To me, that's the plus of that. The kick with the Farms of ADL is after It was a matter of what do I do? And that was really what started Gray Mockingbird down in Lake Worth. Well, coming up here, it was the same concept. It's like, how can I put something together? What can I put together that people need? In construction, it was building houses, building buildings, building high rise, whatever. I didn't want to do that anymore. It got to be just work for me. Now it's a thing of, okay, what does everybody need? Everybody needs food. And it's like, okay, well, then that's not going to go away. And it's something that you can build upon. I like the Walmart concept of here you do something so many times and everybody has to have it. Well, then everybody's going to get it. How can I be the one that they have to go through to get that? And how's the most efficient way? I love logistics. So it's like, okay, let's put this thing together. It's a matter of getting the farmers and working along with the farmers. It's working along with the food pantries, and it's working along with the farm markets. And all of these work with the customers. Now, one of the things that I looked at and became aware of when I was down in Lake Worth is you had one main road going in and one main road coming out of Lake Worth. And the businesses that were on both sides of those roads were inundated every single week by nonprofits coming to them asking for free handouts to say, here, will you donate to us? Will you donate to us? Will you donate to us? There's no, that's not sustainable. If you keep going to a business and saying, here, I want, the business is going to say, well, I'm broke now, so you win. And it's like, but I didn't. And so what happens is it just doesn't work. So to me, I looked at this and said, okay, if I'm a nonprofit, I don't want to go to the farmers and say, here, I want your free stuff. The thing is, I want to support the farmers. So it's a matter of, okay, as an organization, how do we support them? We buy their produce. So now they sell us their produce at a wholesale price, and it's simple economics. We buy it wholesale, we go to the farm markets, sell it at retail, and then there's going to be produce that's always left over. And the thing is, it's like, okay, I can't go to the next market with this produce because it's not going to last another day or whatever. However, the next day, it can go into a food pantry. Now, the cool thing is people sit there and say, oh, that's cool. Pat yourself on the back. You do good. And I always have people be aware. There's always an ulterior motive. And here's the reason why we do it. It's not, yes, it's good. And that's great. And it works for everybody. So since it works for everybody, let's take it to the next step. If we're going to promote, if we're going to go and bring this to the pantry, let's do some promotion and cross promotion for everybody. You can use social media, and that's exactly what we do. Is this wouldn't be able to be done if the farmers didn't work with us to sell their produce, and they do all the work. The farm markets, they're allowing us to work with them and sell our stuff at their markets. So now they're named, the farm markets are named, the farmers are named, and the food pantry that we've just delivered to is named and tagged. So now everybody gets to see that, oh my God, we have a whole community here that is actually all working together. Yeah. And they're just making the whole thing work. The thing with the farm markets, it's not just a matter of a farm market graciously saying, oh yes, you can market at our farm market. We're so good, we're going to allow you to do that. They're sitting there because they want produce at their market. So yes, we help them out by doing that. The other part that we look at is the governments, or whether it be county, state, or federal, has the WIC program. They have the SNAP programs, which is the EBT and what have you. And so it's a matter of working with some of these farm markets. We have another one that we're going to start working with for next year, so that they're a registered farm or farm market that can accept these programs.
That'd be great. Yeah.
By doing that, it allows the farmers or the people selling the produce to be able to accept these. Now, the cool thing about that is like if you're on EBT people are crazy if they don't go to farm markets. And the reason why is, let's say an EBT person gets $200 a month to go buy food. Now the kick is, if for every $5 of EBT tokens, because they take their card, say, here, I'm getting $5 worth of EBT tokens. So they get the $5. But for every $5 they purchase with their EBT, they get another $2 called a Farm Connect, a Fresh Connect coupon. So they're getting another $2 for every $5 that they do. So it just helps them
Is that
grow.
everywhere, Brian, or is that a New York thing?
No, it's not just New York. There are some places that actually do a 50% type thing. Whereas if you're doing $5 here, you get another $5. I've heard it's like different people are able to do it in different ways. So to me, I find it mind-boggling to not be involved with that. But there's also a lot of farmers themselves that don't want to do this. And this is how we work with farmers, is because a lot of farmers don't have the time to market. And it's a matter of, well, then let us sell your produce for you. Sell it to us wholesale. We'll do this. So now the cool thing is, for the people that are on EBT, it's not just a matter of just helping them financially. To me, look at it from a spiritual level. Thing is, I'm somebody that I'm going to take this and I'm going to donate this $10. Why? Because I have disposable income here. Well, the thing is, they don't have disposable income. They have this money, and this has got to go for food, and that's all they got. Well, if they're EBT or the WIC, it's a thing of, okay, I'm going to use my WIC or EBT to get my purchase through the Farms of ADL. So all of a sudden, they're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. They're buying produce from Farms of ADL. So guess what? They're helping the same way that anybody that's doing cash purchase, they're doing the same thing. So all of a sudden, they're on a equal donation level. So this puts them in the same spot. So now they can feel good about themselves, because it's not just them buying food. They're actually able to come out and make a difference. And plus, going to farmer markets that to me is an entertainment in itself.
Yes.
And see, to me, that's with this COVID stuff. So many people have said, this has been so bad, so stressed. And to me, it was like, I wasn't stressed during the whole thing, because it's like, believe me, I've been on the upside of things. I've also been on the downside of things. And it's like, this is nothing. Here, hold my beer. I got this. And it's like, so it's like, it's like, where's the value in this? And it's a matter of, people are becoming people again. And because it's like, they can't do, they couldn't be with anybody. But the thing is, it was something that farm markets were something that were essential. You can't keep people from, you can't go out and buy food. It's like, yes, you can. You have to go buy food. So it's like, well, then.
Yeah. Well, see, you all did. So tell me this. So do you have volunteers, employees? How are you all managing all this?
Right now, I'm putting the thing together. I'm putting the basics down. I will have volunteers to do this. Now, I have had volunteers do other things. We actually did and now this wasn't on the food side of things, but Farms of ADL, because we do the food programs, we have that. But to me, it's also working with any organization that is building community. And so we did a little thing with Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which supplies free beds to kids that don't have beds. And this is kids from 1 year to 18 years old. And it's amazing, because there's a ton of people that have never had beds to sleep on. So the thing is, one of the board members is our manager at the bank that we have. And so what we did is we did a fundraising thing, and we're able to raise $4,500 and bring that in, do our own bed build. So that way, here we're purchasing this. Let's have our time to put this thing together. Now, M&T Bank was fantastic at getting the concept of, wait just a second, we can have this be an employee get together where it's a team building thing. And so they had like 16 of their people come during that time, and they were a big sponsor of it for us. So it was like, okay, well, this is cool. And they had all their people. We had other volunteers come in there. We built, it was like 27 beds that we built that night. And the whole thing is, it was like, that was within a 3 or 4 hour period that we did that. And so to me, doing the fundraiser for that was a cool thing. Prior to that, what made me enjoy the bed building part was my brother-in-law is part of the Sleep in Heavenly Peace, but they had a problem with a donation of pillows, and they were donated a couple thousand pillows.
Wow.
And they couldn't use them all, and they couldn't get them all transported to their place. And so the thing is, the first purchase that the Farms of ADL did was we got a cube van. So it's a 14-foot cube van, and it fits a ton of stuff in it. So it was funny to get that. And so our first thing was to go pick up all these pillows. And it was a great connecting thing, because here I am just starting off here, and it's like, okay, now I can connect with all these nonprofits that have all the people that need pillows and everything. So it was like, bing, bing, bing. I was bringing hundreds of pillows to each one of these organizations, and it's like, it was a cool concept.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah.
and it's just that, and we're talking, if you looked at the financial side of pillows, it was like $30,000 worth of pillows that had to leave. And it's like, okay, we can do this. And then I kind of, this is when you go into the BS part of it, and you build yourself up and say, oh yeah, no, we purchased these all. No, I didn't say that.
Well, so you're just connecting the dots and really building community in addition to doing good work. I mean, which is, I think, what it's all about. And that's what we're here. These times are calling for that, for us all to work together. And I've always been a believer that if someone else is doing it, I don't need to do it again. So it's about finding the person that either needs our help or that can help us, and relationships. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes a thing work.
Yep. And you're a master of that. And so you do this, I mean, out of the goodness of your heart. You're not paid for your services. This is just a ministry, a true ministry from your heart. And so that definitely is, a lot of times in not-for-profits, the monies go to admin and salaries and things like that. So it's good to know that your dollars
it makes a difference. I'll tell you, there's times that it's like, even in fact, this morning, I actually did we sell mums as well, and that's part of our fundraiser. So the thing is, we did that. After that, one of the food pantries that we've never delivered to sent me a text. And so this afternoon, or in fact, during this time right now, they're doing their food giveaway. And that's a local place as well. And so they texted me and said, here, are you able to bring any produce or anything? And the thing it's like, well, absolutely. Because to me, it's funny. It's not a have to. It's not a have to, and it's not a want to. It's I get to do this, because I also look at it from the concept of not everything is always a joyful thing. And I make that clear to everybody. I said, here, the ulterior motive to this is, how are you going to make the whole organization grow? And the thing is by getting your name out there. And I did that with construction too. It was a thing of, if somebody called to say, here, we have a job available, would you bid it? it's a thing of you stop everything, and that's what you go take care of. If you want to grow your business, it's like, boom, that's where we grow. It's the same thing with taking care of the pantries here. It's like, oh, you need produce? Well, then yes, I'll get you produce. And the whole concept here is, if I don't have like, right now, of course, I use sweet corn's out. So the whole thing is, if I don't have sweet corn, I'll go purchase another bag of sweet corn, which is 4 dozen ears of corn, just so that here's your impact. Here's your half a bushel of beans. Here's your onions. Here's your whatever you got to have. It's a matter of make sure that we're not just giving them a handful of stuff. They've got to have at least a grocery cart full of stuff,
Right.
so that it can make an impact, because this is fresh produce. They have all the cans and everything up in their food pantry, but the whole thing is, it's something for us to get our name out there and to constantly know that here we're here to deliver. A bigger organization like a food bank is not going to deliver. Not only are they not going to deliver, they're going to tell you, well, you have to come pick it up, and here's what you'll have to pay for it. Because food banks sell, and that's fine. That's fine for where they're at. To me, because we're smaller, we're able to say, oh, you know what? Yes, you need this now. Boom. How are we going to get into that place? By being there right now when they need us. To me, it's a concept that works.
So what do you do in the winter when there's no produce?
Well, see, last year was the first time that I started going into the produce here. So right now, what I'm working on, in fact, I went to one of the farms today, because I'm looking at putting together something there's a community foundation here, and also the USDA has grants. Well, one of the farms here, in fact, it's the farm that I grew up at working at. They have a huge, it's about 100-foot by 60-foot barn area of the barn, and it's insulated by geothermal. It's basically built into the ground, so it's cool in there. So it's always like a 40 or 50 degrees in there, constant. And so what we're looking at, and I was talking to the guy earlier today, I said, let me get some pictures of this. As I said, I got to start putting this whole program together, because during winter time, I've got to put this whole concept together, because to me, to build out that part of the barn and to be able to know that, first of all, we'll be able to show the what do you call the stuff for the environment, not just environment, but for the efficiency of your utilities and everything. By using geothermal, that kicks butt. It just makes more sense than anything else, not just with the solar and the wind and all that, but geothermal is got you an even temperature throughout the whole year. So by doing that, we have a plus with that, but we want to be able to get produce there for the summertime, so that we're able to not just get my small 14-foot truck to bring food in there, but we're talking about getting tractor trailers to come in here, get things stocked with food, and to work with some of these food pantries. When you work with the smaller food pantries, they're the ones that need the produce and need all the different things, but they also have to get the the walk-in cooler or some kind of a refrigeration, this and that. This way, if you get enough of the smaller food pantries, the whole key is here, you're centralized, and put everything here. Boom, now you need some at this time, because this is when your feeding program is, or this is when your food giveaway is. Now they have a central hub to work with, and it's right within this area.
Wow.
So to me, that just helps. And it helps with the farm with agritourism, basically, because you're able to say, here, not only is the farm growing food, but they're also working with the whole community to be able to have food stored. Now, the thing during the winter time, what I've talked to a couple of the farms about, is you have some of these companies that have their CSAs. That's what do you call community? What do you call it? CSA?
I
What?
know exactly. I've been members of them. It's like a
Okay.
group co-op kind of for
Yeah,
food.
yeah, yeah. So all of a sudden I forget. My brain doesn't remember all
Yeah,
the important words.
yeah,
But anyways, the cool thing with a CS, well, the bad thing about a CSA is, okay, you've built up your CSA, you built up your CSA, and now the season's ended. And so now there goes your CSA, and you got to start all over again next year. And yes, you have a list of names. So now, to me, what I look at is you have your CSA. You've been supplying locally grown produce. Now the thing is, people know that during the wintertime, you don't have locally grown produce.
right.
However, you do have a place that's about a half a day drive from here, and I drove to it. It was back in November, so I could see exactly what it is. And it's in Philadelphia, but it's over 200,000 square feet of refrigerated warehouse.
Wow.
And they have importer exports. They're like crazy, and it's just produce. And so the whole key is it's a matter of here's where we get hooked in to say that during the season, just any of the food distributors around, they go to places like that and then get their produce and distribute it to the local. So the whole key here is we can do the same thing and save their CSA from closing down, because it's a thing of, look, you got people cooperating with you already. Let them keep on going. So that way they're not missing a beat, and will come time to keep going. Boom, you're able to take the next step.
Again, building community
Yeah.
and yeah, supporting each other, which yeah, it's huge. Well, I know you're a big dreamer and a big visionary. What's your goal, your vision of the Farms of ADL for the future?
That's, well, to me, now I had talked to you about possibly doing pumpkins as a fundraiser down in the Flat Rock area. And I scrapped that quick because to me, I got to be solid here first. And by being solid here, then I'm able to build upon that. And then coming down to Hendersonville area, because Asheville's got a huge supply area as well for food, for produce. And so the whole key is get the thing established here, make sure all the kinks are out of it, then take this and go down here and say, here, we got to put this program together and work as a fundraiser for the national ADL. Because my thinking concept is, yes, they have an office there. Yes, you do have a piece of property there, but I believe it's in the side of a hill kind of a thing, and it's be difficult for people to park in and whatever. But so to me, I've looked online to see what kind of real estate was available there, because I would love to see a warehouse space that can also be a meeting place for national ADL, where to me, I look at the concepts of how Unity started with Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. They started small in their little their living room type thing. So there's people already doing that for ADL. And wouldn't it be cool to have programs so that we have people that actually want a church, and church of today's are going to be transformed in ways, first of all, because you do the virtual, which we were doing that back when we were doing regular radio with the WPBR. We were actually the first ones that got WPBR AM, but we are also realizing that we were having a better impact by doing there was another, I forget what the online radio station was, but we hooked into that at the same time. But at the same time, we also use Twitter because Facebook wasn't big at that time. And so we used Twitter where we could put in our keyword for the day and say, here's what we're talking about today. Who's talking about this internationally right now? And it's like, hey, here's who you got talking. Let's invite them in to hey, if you want to ask a question, you can do it here by texting, or you can go online, or you can be on the phone. And it was so cool because it's like you can hit people right then and there.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like here, just like any kind of marketing, if you do just one thing, if like some people think that here, well, I do Facebook, and it's like Facebook's not enough. Facebook's one thing. It's a matter of people get excited when they see that you're putting the energy out there. If you're just putting a post out on Facebook and saying, there, see, I did my part, and it's like, no, so you didn't put energy out there. People are going to look at that and say, yeah, that's not going anywhere. However, if they see flyers, if they see newspaper, if they see other areas where you're promoting this, and if they're hearing it by word of mouth from other people that things are going on, it's like, wait, there's some energy behind this because people are excited. Maybe we want to go to that too.
Yeah.
And that to me is where all of a sudden you're participating in it. Oh, there goes
Ellen. Ellen, you were just on.
Yeah,
But it's again, Brian, creating a buzz and getting the word out, and you are a master of that. And so as we wind down, how can people, by the way, this will be on YouTube. The YouTube channel that I have is youtube.com/inspire YOUTV. And I will include with this interview your contact information, which is your Facebook page. So you want to go ahead and tell everyone about that?
Yes, it's facebook.com/the Farms of ADL. Go to that, or you can go to my name, which is Brian Kirsch 1, which is BRIAN. Kirsch is KIRSCH, and then the number 1 itself. You can also do telephone. I have no problem with telephone. Most times, just talk. Don't be one of these scam calls that doesn't talk and then hangs up. But that's 561-246-0148. In fact, I have information out there that we're always looking for other people for board members to work with us that have some relationship on the things that we do. So we have that available. Volunteering to be able to move forward with the direction that we're going. Whether you're here and or if you have ideas of starting this down in the Hendersonville area as well.
Yeah. Well, Brian, kudos again. You make the world a better place for sure. So thank you for joining us and sharing your story and your vision and your good works. And can't wait to tap in and hear all the good news you're doing and see your vision expand all over the place. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much.
Yep.
It went by fast, Charlotte.
It sure did. Well, it usually does. And I want to thank everyone else for tuning in, and spread it to your friends and let them know we're here. And Brian, good luck with everything. I know you'll continue to do even greater things. So thank you so much.
And Ellen, you can come out now.
She's in the kitchen. Okay, everybody. Namaste. Thanks, Brian.